Hello, this is Kristen from Ontario, from Thunder Bay. Anyway, I was calling because I've been sick this week and I've been losing my voice, sort of, but then I realized I sound like the chicken lady, so I wanted to call and just wish you all no mountain too tall and good luck to all, and just check to say, I love life. And, you want some eggs?
TBTL.
Don't you latte-sipping leeches understand? I've seen enough of these Hollywood super hunks. We need a dumpy, unappealing loser, an everyman.
Don't take this the wrong way, but you've just been kind of hanging around a lot lately, which isn't a bad thing, but it's also not a good thing.
I feel like we're just like in that tired mode where you're delirious and you're laughing at silly things.
Well, you have found my flabbergast button, and guess what? You've pressed it.
The comedy factor speaks for itself. It's just painfully obvious.
Yeah. Well,
It's an unfulfilled prophecy. It just has to be played out.
My door's always open, except when it's closed, but you can open it when it's closed.
All right. Hello, good morning, and welcome everyone to a Tuesday edition of TBTL, the show that just might be too beautiful to live. My name is Luke Burbank. I am your host, coming to you once again from today, slightly less beautiful Los Angeles, California, but still tolerable. That's how I consider my contribution to the world of podcasting. It's not so beautiful, but it is tolerable. And I hope you're going to enjoy yet another episode of TBTL, yet another episode where I don't have my full complement of audio wizardry. Because I did leave my recording equipment in Portland in my car, and I had to buy a temporary USB microphone, which is what you're hearing me on right now. It also means no audio drops. I don't know, maybe for some people, that's a relief. There might be some people who, they're like the people that watch the Super Bowl, but they just want to see the ads. They listen to the TBTL, but they don't want any part of the drops, and this is going to be a great couple of days for all of you. You know what? I think it's going to be a great day and a great few days for all of us because I just have that sense. I just have that feeling here as we arrive at episode 4,660 in a collector series. See, right there, you would have heard a bell ding if I were at the Madrona Hill studio or even if I had my sound effects. Hey, there you go. Who do you think dinged that bell? Was it Elisha? We always set a place for him here on the podcast. No, I think that might have been the longest-running Cobro of the show, maybe best known for his depictions of the tall ships. He's Andrew Walsh. He's getting my back today. Good morning, my friend.
Never has a man scrambled for a bell as quickly as I scrambled for that bell. Maybe
that
there
was
some,
actually that was quick reaction time, in my opinion.
Are there historic stories where somebody needs to ring a bell as quickly as possible? Anybody have to ring the Liberty Bell or anything really quickly?
Right, it's a sort of like a Paul Revere-esque moment, or the marathon, like one of those things where for some reason Audie Murphy, somebody had to like ring that bell to let the French know that the Germans were coming from the other direction or something.
Yes, exactly. Hey, I had a question for you. Hold on. Before I start picking apart your intro, which is not a nice thing to do. Let me see here. I'm typing in most famous bell ringing into Google. We're out of tissue talk today.
You're probably going to get Mike Tyson versus Buster Douglas.
Oh, right. Boxing has bells.
Maybe.
Let's see here. Westminster Abbey comes up a lot. So in your analogy, the drops are the football game, and you and me talking are the commercials.
Yeah, you didn't assume that?
I just wasn't sure. I just wanted to make sure that I was following that.
I figured most people tune into this show to hear Cisco Morris go ooh la la.
Oh la la.
And they just tolerate the other, I would say 99.9% of the show where we're talking until the next day when they can hear some more drops at the top of the show. That's what my independent research has generated, is that people tune in to hear snippets of audio and then they stick around to just kind of like endure the parts where we're talking.
There's got to be an AI somewhere that can strip every part of the show away except for the drops. And then it's just a nice, tidy little 4-minute show. How many? Oh, now there's a question for you. I mean, it's not an interesting question. It's terrible content, but it's a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What should we do, percentage or time? I like time. On your average TBTL, which is like, let's say, a 90-minute program, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much of that is actually drops? Now, we know the intro tape package is usually about 90 seconds, right? So
Sure.
there you got about a minute and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Then you come in and you're talking, but we're not counting the time that you're talking. We're talking just the drops themselves. How many drops do you think you play in a day?
Probably
time-wise?
6. I would say as few as 5 and as many as 7.
Oh, okay. So those are the number of drops at the beginning of the show. Yes,
Right.
which is maybe, again, taking away all voice that isn't a drop.
I'd say call them 3 seconds each.
Call
Just
them 3
average.
seconds each, so you're like under 30 seconds on drops. We're only delivering, and then here and there throughout the show, you'll drop them down. But we're delivering like 3 minutes of drops a day. Is that it? And can we get those numbers up?
Well, this is why it's so incredible that people stick around for the rest of the show. I mean, the ratio is really off. In fact, you know what, Andrew? To bring it back to the football analogy, somebody did this once, and this used to be I was listening to Chuck Klosterman talk to Pablo Torre about this, that the knock on football at one point, when maybe it was a little bit less of a national obsession, was that I think an entire football game only has 11 minutes of actual football being played, which is crazy to think about because, I mean, a quarter is 15 minutes. So right there you think you'd have more, but no, we're talking between the guy saying hike and then the referee blowing the whistle. When you add all of that up, this 4-hour experience has 11 minutes of actual something like actively going on.
I have that book, by the way. Have you read it?
No, I need to start it on the flight home. I'm interviewing Chuck, by the way, next week on Livewire.
I had a feel that seemed like, because I know he'd been on before, and it seemed like something that you guys would do. And a friend had him on their show, and so she gave me the book. And so
how handsome is that book, by the way?
It looks great. It's just sitting on my couch. It's better just to let it sit on the couch. It looks like we have workers who've been coming in and out, and they all think like this man likes to read handsome books about football. It just says.
It kind of looks old and kind of leather bound in a way, and like somewhere between the Bible and maybe like a coaching book that Vince Lombardi would have written or something.
Right,
it's just got a super classic vibe to it. Speaking of, not to change the subject from TRT, total runtime of our that's a TV term, Andrew. That's fine. Sometimes we'll say it's 514 TRT plus the sun. That just means the story. Total runtime is 5 minutes and 15 seconds, and then a little CBS Sunday Morning Sun appears after it. That's usually kind of sort of made to look like something related to what the story just was.
I think of that more as the CBS Morning Show Sun.
You and a lot of other people, Andrew, and we could talk about that off air if you'd like to. Do you think I can make a living on TBTL alone? You got another thing coming. You better be rooting for CBS.
No, wait. I don't know if you interpreted my riff the way my.
No. I know exactly what you were saying.
But you've just mentioned on the show before that used to be just the hallmark or just the logo of Sunday Morning, and then the morning show took it. And I know that's a little bit. It's a little bit of a.
Well, it's a little sensitive because that was our little special thing, and when you saw the particular branding, a person would be like, oh, that's CBS Sunday Morning. And now I also will see something like, oh wow, we did that story, I didn't even know that, and I realized, no, I'm watching CBS This Morning right now, or I'm watching a clip.
Stole your sun. They literally stole your sunshine.
They did, and we were just a little humble Sunday morning show. The reason I said we better hope CBS exists is because I think the fear around the other show borrowing our branding is that it then made it less special for us. Therefore, we are less special. Therefore, we will cease to exist. That's I would call that spiraling on my part, but it's one of my favorite activities.
Mm-hmm. Well, what were you going to say before I interrupted you with a questionable spoof?
I completely forgot. By the way, that wasn't a questionable spoof. That was a great callback, and I appreciated it. I totally forgot that you all are still in the midst of a construction zone there. You had some. The power was out for a bit last week while things were getting rewired. Genevieve was sending Roden and I pictures of your new breaker box, which looks
pretty sexy, right?
I mean, honestly, like you're going to lock that thing up. I think it's you can have every Tomcat coming around for that breaker box. But so what's the latest? Where are things at right now?
Things are a little bit paused right now because of a workplace injury, unfortunately.
Oh,
so,
no. I'm sorry. Am I bringing up a sensitive subject?
No, I think it's okay. But these So it's basically we have one main contractor, and then he has a guy that works with him, a young man who works with him, and their names are Adrian and Michael, and I like them a lot. And Adrian's really cool. We're kind of, as I've mentioned before, sort of kind of like having an ongoing conversation about kind of designing and choosing like design elements and hardware and whatnot as we sort of go along. Like Genevieve's been spending Saturdays going down to the reuse store down in the one in Ballard, but the one down in Soto, I think, and like looking at cabinetry and stuff, because we're thinking about maybe getting something that is kind of that has been used before, because we don't want. He keeps on, what is the name of the stuff that is not wood, but it's like particle board? I call it particle board. There's an industry term for it that's 3 letters or something. Like, I can't think of what it is.
OSB.
Something like, I don't know. Yeah, it might be that. But basically, it's like, it's the stuff when we redid my bathroom, we went to Home Depot and we bought like a vanity, right? With a drawer and some, and just to put around the sink or whatever. And it looked good, but it's particle board. And so any moisture, it's already kind of swelling or whatever. So we kind of don't want that. I think we're looking at something that might be like a plywood or something along those lines. So it's kind of this ongoing conversation of like both Adrian and Genevieve being at different reuse stores. Yesterday, or I guess on Saturday, Genevieve was at the reuse store in Soto. Adrian was at one in Ballard. They're texting back and forth. I'm at home just puttering, cleaning, giving my opinions, but doing absolutely no work at all on this project. And so while they're picking those things out, they were also like kind of doing the first step, which is really getting our wiring in order. And like you said, installing this breaker box, a new breaker box. And there's a lot of mess inside the walls, especially down here in the basement, as far as the expansion of the electricity of when they turn this basement into kind of a living space. So kind of ripping all that out and redoing it right and installing some lights and stuff while we sort of figure out the big plan. But we did just uncover, and Genevieve told me what the square footage is, I'm not sure, but we just sort of uncovered a space in the wall when they were sort of tearing. Oh, yeah. Did she tell you how much that is? Because she was so excited she measured it that we can turn
I didn't know the measurement. I just knew you were going to talk about doing some built-ins. Fun.
Yeah, exactly. So that'll be really, so we're kind of discovering it on the go. So basically the last big project was, I think, Thursday. Genevieve and I had to get out of Dodge. Remember, I did the show from the campus that day from the UW because the power was cut here. Well, they basically got everything installed for the electrical work by Thursday evening, and everything was up and running. And then on Friday, Adrian was not going to come. It was just going to be Michael, the young man who works for him, to come and kind of like finish up that job, pull out a little bit more drywall in some areas, and just kind of finish up for the week. And then something happened where he pulled his shoulder out. He was actually opening our garage door. I don't think I'm liable for this. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this on tape, but he was opening our garage door, and the garage door came off its track, and somehow he kind of hurt his shoulder in
He didn't use the human door?
They're mostly using the human door, but he needed the big garage door to be open. But since we have that, what we now call the human door on the side of the garage, we're not opening that big old door all the time. And it's the kind that's just like a big, for folks who don't know my garage door, it's not the kind that's divided into sections that kind of curve around the track. It's just like, it's an old-fashioned big flat door that swings up and then, and goes into the garage. And
I kind of like those, by the way.
Yeah,
those are sort of classic. That's what I grew up with. Like, that was the default setting for a garage door. It was a big, kind of somewhat heavy thing that was just on a fulcrum point, so that you could, you'd reach down to the very bottom and you'd grab that handle, and then because of how it was, sort of anchored into at the midpoint, you'd raise it up, you'd swing it open. That feels vintage 1980s to me.
Yeah, I like it. We did not have that growing up, but I do like it. And unfortunately, though, it's pretty decrepit at this point. And so and we hardly ever use it anymore. So my guess is somebody who's never opened that garage door before is probably going to do it with more oomph than one needs. And so I'm guessing that maybe like Michael expected to be heavier or something, so I have no idea, but it kind of came off the track, which happens from time to time. It's not a big deal, but I think in maybe trying to save it or do something, because when it comes off its track, it doesn't come crashing down or anything. It just is it just is unstable up there, and you got to get it back in its track. So anyway, I think he was trying to fix it. His arm is over his head. I don't know what happened. He pulled his shoulder out. He said it had happened to him before. It's something that he works with. So that basically takes him out of the game for Friday. So whatever work was going to be done on Friday was not done, and then he was still apparently dealing with that on Monday as well. So things are a little bit paused here. I mean, is the fact that this is happening around Super Bowl weekend suspicious?
Super Bowl flu?
Is the fact that he has a new Seattle Seahawks face tattoo?
Yeah.
Does this play into it at all? No, I don't think he's a Seahawks fan. Actually, he's an Eagles fan, so I can't accuse him of that. So anyway, that's where we are now. Things are a little bit paused.
So you're experiencing one of the great common experiences of any construction project, which is the construction project not happening.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm pretty sanguine about that. Like we said, like we're not in any kind of huge hurry. I don't like having the bummer is that, you know, as this is happening, we're pulling more and more stuff out of storage spaces that they need access to. So our basement's starting to look a little bit more basement-y because there are shop vacs and just, you know, everything is pulled out of storage in certain areas and it kind of looks ugly. But it's funny how you kind of get used to that. But Vives and I, you know, said from the outset, like we're not in any rush. Like we're so lucky that this is a lagniappe, you know what I mean? We have a working kitchen upstairs. We have a refrigerator. We have everything we need to live is still accessible in this house. So take time on the project, do it right, and don't charge us too much. Like I'm more worried about like what this is going to be at the end of the day, because as we continue to sort of do this project, the numbers will continue to sort of like kind of fluctuate. I don't know if fluctuate is the right word.
They're probably not going
in
down,
one
right?
direction. Yeah, that's what I'm sort of thinking.
Can I ask a question that you're under no obligation to answer if it's like too personal? But I just, you know, having been through a lot of these kinds of projects, I'm curious how, without going into too much detail, how exactly did you all land on this particular contractor? Did you use Angie's List? Was it somebody who you knew who had used this person? How did you guys get to the person that you ended up hiring?
Genevieve did, as with everything, Genevieve did the research, had a couple of people. I'm trying to think of we had 2 or 3 different people kind of come out for consultations. And I don't know. I don't know exactly what source she used, but she just was Googling around and maybe used some recommendations of neighbors, although I don't know that we know anybody who's used him before. But then once we kind of we're getting very, very close to the to signing the contracts or whatever, I did, you know, do a little bit more background as well. I just wanted to kind of make sure that everything seems good. And he seems very well loved, or he's he's one of the smartest,
the world's greatest internet
men.
I doubt it.
Exactly.
I doubt it.
No, so I don't think we have any trust issues when I say that. And I also think that, I mean, a lot of the conversations we're having are about like how we can save money on this. He seems to be, you know, pretty money conscious. And so, you know, and we got an estimate, but that estimate we knew would like continue to kind of grow as we would potentially add things to this project. But speed is not an issue. Like I'm not like, I think it was maybe a little bit harder when we were first tearing into walls, because it's kind of like I'd mentioned to you that, or maybe I didn't, you know, I might have talked more about this with Hannah, but like, I feel like you just know me well enough and the listeners know me well enough that like, I'm really, really, really looking forward to having this beautiful, nice space that we've created and made all the decisions about, and really have it be ours from the get-go. And we got a new sink that I'm excited about. And like, I just know that if anything happens, if I ding that sink, it's my ding. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very, very much excited. Sorry about that. I'm very excited about all of that, but the anxiety I think was a little bit right at the beginning of work, because as much as I like having nice things, I don't like my routines interrupted that much. And so just like being without a basement sink for a while, I knew it wasn't a matter of life or death. Like I say, we had a sink upstairs. We're so lucky. This is just an extra little kitchenette we're doing. But to say goodbye to my big basin sink in the basement for, you know, a couple of months or whatever it's going to be, where I wash my big coffee thermoses for my pop-up gig or whatever, like just having to like kind of adjust to that, or not having everything put away nicely and instead having closets full of cleaning supplies emptied and out on the floors. Like those are the types of things that usually get in my head a little bit, because I'd rather just have things stable and nice and clean and tidy, even if it means it's not the nicest kitchen in the world. Everything is put away, right? I emphasize things being put away too much. I think my parents instilled that in me a little bit too much. So I think there was a little bit of anxiety at the beginning of this project about just like feeling disrupted, but it's amazing how quickly I get used to that too. You know,
Right,
like we're just
right.
like, now I got a pile of shit in front of my bathroom door. And every time I look at it, I think it's going to be really nice when we get to put that stuff away. But I'm not feeling like anxious about when is this going to be done. I'm kind of enjoying the process. But again, I want to be very, very clear here. And it's not just because Genevieve can probably hear me through the door live, but my contribution to this project has been like very little other than having some opinions here and there. I really got to give Genevieve the credit for like getting the ball rolling on this and actually, you know, actively going out and looking at designs and stuff. Because like I have opinions, but I just don't like shopping. That's a huge, huge difference between like me and me and Genevieve.
They should study your brain chemistry and figure out if they can make that into a GLP-1 of not being a consumer, because I'll inject myself or take the pill or whatever people do, because like I wish that I liked shopping a little less.
Yeah. Somewhere between us would be ideal, because I like it a little bit too less. I think that was this conversation could quickly expand, but I think that was part of. I was having some issues when we decided we weren't going to use Amazon anymore, which is, of course, something that I strongly believe in, us not using Amazon anymore. It wasn't something I had to be talked into. But it was like I had just gotten into some routines of like, okay, when I'm out of my Argyle socks, I know that I go to Amazon. I just go to things I've already ordered and I order another 2 bags of those or whatever. You know what I mean? Or like there were just certain things in my life that took me a while to sort of set up, because I do hate shopping. And then I sort of found myself just like a few months ago, generally feeling a lot of unease in life anyway in these United States, but then like really focusing on like, I just don't know where to get my V-neck shirts. Like, it's not a big deal. I can get some V-neck t-shirts like anywhere, but it's like I had to sit down and shop. And like, think about that sentence. I had to sit down and look at my phone. Like that was it. But I just don't have the patience for it. And so when I actually found some new, let's call them suppliers for some of my like kind of regular needs in life, it was such a relief to me. And now I know I don't have to go to Amazon. I can go back to this company or I can't even remember. I think, it doesn't really matter, but like for these colored V-neck T-shirts that I like to wear, I know I can go right back to it's not the Gap, but it's something like that. You know what I mean? And I know that they're tested, and I can just hit reorder again. Like that's really important to me because I hate the hunting.
Well, something that I have noticed with you when you're talking about, and granted, a V-neck T-shirt is not the kind of purchase that a computer is, but I know something that you've expressed is that sometimes making purchases is stressful for you because you really don't want to buy the wrong thing. So it just feels, and again, that's probably different when you're talking about your new computer versus, some Argyle socks. But just, I think I
do think that's different. I think that is a little bit of a different thing with me in technology, because I do think computers, it's a much bigger investment. I don't think it's a money thing for me. It's just a patience thing when it comes to the smaller things in life. When it comes to the computers and stuff, it's like, well, it's so much money, and I'm going to learn that it doesn't have this one small driver that I didn't realize was a change in a Dell computer, and suddenly I can't create a mix minus with you or something. Like I think I get frozen on those things a little bit differently than I do with my Argyles.
Well, the thing that I'll say about which you didn't ask, and nor did Genevieve, but my hope for you is that you guys continue to be the primary project for this construction company, because what's happened to me, and this is, I get a little nervous when I hear we're not on any timeline, because I get nervous about them hearing that, because one thing that's happened to me is I've had folks doing work on various places I've lived, and then there just keeps being, I don't think that this is what we're dealing with right now, but they're just, I'm not prophesying this for you. I'm prophesying against this. But like something that has sometimes happened to me is like, we'll get 2 days of work, and then suddenly it's like we had to go do this other job, or we're waiting for this part, which really means we were going to do this other job because someone else was paying a little more money, and the rush was on them, and then things can kind of like. And again, the stuff that I've mostly been having done is like actually it's pretty massive, and so it's like it not being done is a huge problem, whereas you've already got this figured out. If like, it takes an extra 2 weeks, it's not going to ruin your life. For me, it's like one side of the house is missing, and if it doesn't go back up soon, all the furniture gets rained on. So this isn't going to be as critical for you, but I'm just hoping that and by the way, the whole thing with contractors in my experience is it is just so luck of the draw. I have had some of the best, most awesome folks and most reliable folks that have just done amazing stuff. Less the case for me, thankfully, but there have been a couple times where it's been just like making me a little crazy. And one of the things that made me crazy was the pace of work, because I'd be like getting up early, making sure I don't look like I just got out of bed at 7, even though I did. And because the guy's supposed to be there at 7, and then they just like never show up that day. Mm-hmm. And you're like, hey, what happened? I was like, oh, we were on this other thing, or, oh no, we're not coming out till Friday now. Oh, okay. So anyway, I don't think you guys are in a pickle with this. You've already said that, but I'm hoping that it isn't.
I just heard the door. Apparently, I didn't even know this, but apparently someone's here today, because I just heard.
See, my anxiety for you brought them there, so you're welcome.
Well, that is certainly that's not where my anxiety lies right now, because if anything, they're very, very, very attentive, and they're like last night, Genevieve and I recorded a 3-hour episode of After These Messages yesterday, which, by the way, was a huge accomplishment. Last year's episode after the Super Bowl was 4.5 hours long, so the fact that we shaved 90 minutes off our final product yesterday,
on time and under budget,
absolutely right, no cost overruns here. And I know that even Adrian was texting us during the show saying, hey, I just need to swing by and check on this other thing. I feel like they're very, very attentive.
Nice.
And he just swung by now. Or somebody
Excellent.
did. I assume it's that, or Genevieve has taken a lover.
Let's hope it's door number 1.
Yeah, me too.
Although, what a plot twist for TBTL. If it's door number 2.
Maybe he or she can help pay for the project. I'm open to really anything at this point.
That is something else that Genevieve said to me in Roden. I don't think she'd be embarrassed if I repeated this, but I said, oh my gosh, that's so incredible. She goes, yeah, I'm really excited about it. She goes, this was probably the most expensive day in the history of me and Andrew's relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting that electrical work put in. Well, here, I do think that we're sort of bearing the lead a little bit here, because here's something I forgot to mention, which is that Michael, who maybe he's the fellow who's here right now. I really don't know. The door is closed, but I heard somebody come in. But we are turning him into a TBTL 10, one vinyl greatest hits record at a time. So I gave him he showed some interest in my background in radio, and was asking me some questions. And I said, well, if you're interested, here is a TBTL's greatest hits record. And so he took that home. I have not heard. It was right around then that he started to feel not so well and started no-showing.
The timing is interesting on that one. I'm going to be honest with you.
We was hoping for some razzle-dazzle.
Razzle-dazzle.
That's right, man. Razzle-dazzle.
On your mark.
On your mark.
Get set.
Get set.
Now ready.
Ready. Go.
Everybody razzle-dazzle. Everybody.
Well, what do you know? That music indicates that we have entered into dazzling donor territory, like the swallows returning to Capistrano, as I love to say. It's about that time of year, Andrew, where we are starting to thank a whole new batch of donors. These folks are donating a truly dazzling amount of dough, and we want to thank a couple of them and also read a message that they've submitted of one kind or another. By the way, if you have been donating at a dazzling amount of dough and you have not received an email, there's another one that's going to be going out pretty soon. That's just a little reminder that if you would like to submit a message and have us read it and have your name read on air, we would be happy to do that. Also, if you don't want to do that, no pressure. We're going to start off thanking Molly Simon, who's up there in Stanwood, Washington. Beautiful Stanwood, Washington. I heard it's going to be incredible tomorrow, by the way, in Seattle. I won't be there.
I'm looking outside. You said it's not so nice in L.A., right? I'm looking outside. It is. It is literally beautiful blue skies and sunny outside. I don't know what the temperature is out there right now.
46 degrees.
Chilly.
Feels like 52. That's what the internet's telling me.
Oh, really? Yeah. No, it is incredible here. And so tomorrow's the big parade.
And you've got
Seahawks parade.
Literally nothing but sunshine.
Yeah.
On the schedule all day today. And meanwhile, I'm down here in Los Angeles in the clouds. What in the...
Well, it's January. Wait, what?
Sure is. June gloom.
June gloom.
Luckily, I'm guessing if it's nice in Seattle, it's nice up in Stanwood where Molly is. Here's what Molly says. Oh, the steadfast joy TBTL brings to my daily life. Your consistency and reliability are a rare experience that I've come to depend on. Thank you for being here For me, the tens, the people of the world, 5 days a week, peace and love, peace and love. This year, my donations are related to my business, Simon Forensic. We are a materials testing lab in Warm Beach, Washington, a beautiful rural community near Stanwood. That's right, Warm Beach. That used to be where some of the Christian camps that I went to were.
Oh, I've never heard of Warm
back
Beach
in the
before.
day.
That's new to me.
If you are let's see here. We are, it seems we're perpetually looking for the next metallurgist, chemist, material scientist, or machinist to join our small but mighty crew. Did you guys hear? Molly is hiring. Molly is hiring over there at Simon Forensic. If you are a metallurgist, if you're a chemist, if you're a material scientist or a machinist, you could join this small but mighty crew. If you're looking for a TBTL-friendly work environment, you can find me on our website, simonforensic.com. As I work away here in Northwest Snohomish, I'm going to go with Snohomish County, earbuds locked on my favorite pod cart, I look forward to many more years of daily companionship. Thank you, Luke, Andrew, John, and fellow tens. May your microphones never fail, your cords be tidy, and your stories abundant. Go Mariners. I love Molly has rewritten an old Irish blessing.
Yes.
May Riverside always rise to meet your back, Andrew.
Right. May you be in Riverside a half hour before the devil knows you gave up on.
That's a really good point, because I have been watching our little connection here today very carefully. Yesterday's show, this is so boring and technical, but basically the recording stopped somewhere in the middle, and I didn't note it, so I wasn't able to tell you, and then we had some other hassles associated with that. So I'm trying to be a very good co-bro today, and by the way, it has not yet disconnected, and I'm not saying Molly Simon is uniquely responsible for that, but she played a role, I feel.
Definitely. And I would like to mention as well, so I'm on the Simon Forensic website right now. I am not a metallurgist. As you know, I have no background in this field.
Are you a material scientist? Are you a chemist?
I'm looking.
Are you a machinist?
No, I'm not. But
Are you a
I've
TBTL
used
listener?
Machines before. I'm a TBTL listener. I like the idea of a TBTL-friendly work environment, because that's not what I'm dealing with right now. I am jealous of people who can apply for this job. I'm wondering, Molly, can I learn on the fly? I'm a quick learner. And I like
definitely
metal.
think chemistry is one of those things you don't need a lot of sort of schooling on. I think that's one of those kind of learn on the job. Yeah, it's more of just a vibe.
Yeah, and you just sort of feel your way through it. I do like metal. I was actually I was thinking about you, Luke, because I was listening to
Metallica?
Master of Puppets this weekend. Yes, I don't know why. I liked that record quite a bit when I was a young man, and I had not gone back to it in a long time, but some little voice in my head said, hey, Andrew, you should go back and listen to Master of Puppets. I listened to it all the way through. It's very good if you're into heavy metal, which Molly certainly is, and I am now too, so I feel like I'm kind of read up on it.
And if you were to work, well, actually, you'd be the worst example of this. But if there's another 10 who ends up working at Simon Forensic, then maybe Molly doesn't have to have the earbuds in. Maybe we can, if we all like TBTL, then we could they could put it out on a Bluetooth speaker of some kind. I said you'd be the worst, Andrew, because I don't think you'd want to get done with your shift on TBTL and then go up to Simon Forensic and then start listening to TBTL on the speaker. I think that would really embarrass you, because I know that would really embarrass me.
That is true. I don't think I told you this, but I had a dream. Sorry, I had a dream a couple of weeks ago that me and a bunch of friends were going to go to a cabin together, and our friend, I'll name him. I'll name him and blame him. In the dream was our friend Aaron Roden, who's often mentioned on this show. And Aaron called me aside in my dream, and he said, "Hey, there's only about like 9 of us who are going to the cabin." And I thought he was going to say, so maybe you're comfortable like swimming with us or something. And I said, yeah. And he said, so I was thinking maybe we could listen to TBTL in the car ride out there. And I remember in my dream being like, no. I said, why don't we just have a nice conversation instead?
What an incredibly conceited dream.
It really was. This is the new me. This is the new me. No, it was really nice. Can I just say something?
Yes.
This is on Molly's dime, by the way. This is Simon Forensics is paying for this anecdote. Forensic. Sorry. I also, by the way, that's my other thought. When I think Simon Forensic, I picture like not a superhero, but like a detective character.
Well, because you had Simon Well, you had Simon and Simon. That was a TV show, and then Forensic right there. It sounds like the other one.
I'm Simon Forensic, and I'm here to help. Ooh, just think about that, Molly. That dream I had about just like a bunch of friends, spur of the moment, saying, "Hey, let's go on a road trip together," was very nice, and it was just a pleasant dream. You know how you and I sometimes talk about how like is every dream some sort of a tension dream, and actually there was some tension in it because I think the plot was I didn't feel like I had packed my bags, but I didn't want everybody waiting on me. How Andrew is that? Like literally that dream was about like everybody's like, we're ready to go. And I'm still looking for my bags. And I'm like concerned that everybody's like tapping their toes waiting for me. But the point is I've been having terrible dreams lately, Luke. Last night I had a bad dream, or this is like 2 nights ago. I had a bad dream. I woke up from it and said, glad that bad dream's over. And I went to bed and I had a dream that was 10 times worse, man. I am having bad dreams all the time. How's your mental health?
I had a dream the other day that I was part of an influencer family. I was one of the children.
I almost spit out my coffee. Go ahead.
This was my dream Saturday night. Not the Seahawks. Not going to Roden's cabin with stress packing. It was. I was the age I am now. Mm-hmm. The parents, these influencer parents and their kids were younger than me.
Okay, interesting.
So I was somehow I was somehow part of this family that was like a kind of a relatively young, I'll say, in their 30s, husband and wife. They had some kids that were maybe, let's say, like age 9 through age 4, 3 of them. And their whole thing, they were like an influencer family whose whole thing was personal family finance. So their big thing was talking about how you can like pay down your credit card debt and you can save money. But they kept saying they said, but that doesn't mean we're not going to take our family trip to Denali. And all the kids were so excited to go on this family trip to Denali, and this kept being their thing, which like just because we're saving money and just because we're paying down our credit card debt, it doesn't mean that we're not going to Denali. And I had two thoughts. One was, do I get to go to Denali even though I'm 49 years old? I am a child in this family. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm a kid in this family. I'm just weirdly old. Oh, and by the way, Andrew, a different race.
Okay.
But I was like, do I get to go to Denali? And then later I thought, how unracist am I that I didn't think it was Mount McKinley? Even in my dream. I'm using the right terminology for things.
Oh, my God. If my dream was conceited, yours is self-righteous.
Mine was just accurate, okay? I'm one of the great non-racists of our time.
Oh, my goodness gracious. That's a double anti-racist dream. That's wonderful.
It's not enough to be anti-racist in your dreams. You've got to be double anti-racist, and I'm the one doing it. I never got to the end of the dream. I never got to the part where the family went to Denali, Andrew. I just remember thinking, like, am I going to get to go or not? And
but did you ever get into because for me, it's always the trip, right? It's always like,
never even got on the trip.
Never got in the car, never on the plane.
Nope, unfortunately. But yeah, that's my most recent dream.
I love it.
Hey, Molly, thank you so much for your support. And yeah, I mean, what a cool thing. If you're looking for a job in those industries or with those qualifications that we read, check out simonforensic.com. We know Molly's good people, so, this should be a great fit. Maestro?
On your mark.
On your mark.
Get set.
Get set.
Now ready.
Ready. Go.
Everybody rattle, dazzle.
Look at you, Andrew Walsh. You're in mid-season form.
Ready to go
with the
there?
Maestro. Yeah, dude,
I just remembered
amazing.
it at the last minute. I kind of scrambled.
No.
15
that was
seconds before you said it.
I mean, but hey, that was elite. Like that,
Well, the game's slowing down, Luke.
Well, I would just expect, we are pitchers and catchers reporting for Dazzling Donor duty. It'd be all right if you, want to play a little long toss first. If you want to, I don't expect you to be whizzing in smokers like that, but you were, man. Congratulations.
Well, I just hope I didn't set too high of a expectation for the rest of the Dazzling Donor season.
I'm already buying my World Series tickets based on how competent you've already seemed early in the season. Hey, we want to thank Catherine Kachunas, who is in Ann Arbor, Michigan. We were talking extensively with absolutely no background information, Andrew, about Michigan recently.
Oh, that's right, on the show. I was like, I don't remember that. Hopefully that wasn't on the air, but of course it was. Of course,
because I was talking about art prize in Grand Rapids, and you were saying, what about Ann Arbor? And I said, Ann Arbor's beautiful. That was what I had to offer to the conversation.
Well, that is what I think of when I think of Ann Arbor. And that's what I was trying to remember. You were talking about areas that have like specific kind of art spaces and art events, which Ann Arbor fits that description. And you just always hear how unbelievably beautiful Ann Arbor is. And you also hear from people like Catherine how great Faygo is. And Catherine sent me, because I did not have access to Faygo for a while. I don't know if you recall this, but Catherine mailed me a package of, I believe, like 4 or 5 bottles of various flavored Faygo a while back. Luke, the shipping must have been triple the cost of the soda inside.
Well, it's interesting, Andrew, because I've already read ahead a little bit, and Faygo makes an appearance in Catherine's dazzling donor message. Catherine says, sending love and support to you tens, and a sincere thank you to the business boys for bringing us together. May we find peace and strength with one another. Best wishes to you all. Cheers with a glass of Faygo Rock and Rye.
Oh, the Rock and Rye.
Did you have a Rock and Rye in that, if you can remember, in that batch that Catherine sent you?
I feel like I did, because I feel like there was a conversation maybe about Rock and Rye that actually brought it to the forefront. But I'm looking at this now, and I was thinking that Rock and Rye is the one that's like a it's like a cream soda, right?
Yeah, it's the internet says it's often described as a mix of vanilla cream soda and cherry cola.
Yes, that's right. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. You know what this is going to do? And I'm not even joking. You'll be surprised to hear that the SARS by my house has a large Faygo cooler, Luke,
really?
With a lot of different options. I'm actually
surprised to hear that.
I haven't had any yet, but I might go over there today, because now I'm thinking about this Rock and Rye.
There was a restaurant in Bellingham called Rock and Rye. It might still be there. And I think they were called Rock and Rye because they were like, we have oysters and we have whiskey.
Oh,
So
it's
the
like
oyster
it's more
was
of a
the rock.
modern. Okay, yeah.
So the oyster was the rock, because it kind of looks like a rock when the full shell is on, and the rye was a reference to the rye whiskey that they served. Rock and Rye.
Yes,
that was one of our go-tos up there. Well, listen, Catherine, thank you so much, and thanks for supporting the show, and thank you for keeping Andrew well stocked in Faygo. I don't know how much Faygo they have down here in this part of Los Angeles, but I'll go on the hunt later today and see if I'm looking. Actually, I'm looking at a giant Mr. Pibb billboard.
Really?
I'm actually looking
Mr.
at
Pibb has billboard money?
They've got Hollywood billboard money.
Whoa.
Let me just give you a quick,
for your consideration, Mr. Pibb.
Seriously, I'll tell you because I'm staying in Hollywood, and I'll tell you the billboards that I'm looking at. I'm looking at a Mr. Pibb. It says crack open some cherry chaos. So obviously they've rolled out a Mr. Pibb cherry product. Then, of course, one entire side of a building is Skims. Skims is the Kim Kardashian, like underwear,
like lingerie.
Not, but it's. I think it might be body shaping too. So it's not just Victoria's Secret per se. It's kind of like, I think that it's stuff that you might wear under your regular clothes to kind of contour and shape your body more in some kind of way that you're wanting. But there's a big Skims ad, which kind of checks out. We're in Los Angeles. Then there is a billboard that I have to say has been very effective, because it did make me Google it. I've been looking at it out my window, and then yesterday I had walked out to get a little bit of dinner. And as I was walking back on Sunset, I looked up this big billboard that says, "What's the deal with Hit Boy?"
I kind of like marketing that makes you go figure it out.
Well, and Andrew, you'd actually, I can't, I'll take a picture of it. It's not going to be particularly helpful because it's sort of, how do I put it? It's to the side. I'm a little bit to the side of this billboard, so I don't know how this photo is going to turn out, but I'm going to try to take a picture because what I really like is the layout. You're a layout guy. You're a font guy. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm using one hand to hold the microphone, the other hand to try to steady my phone so I can take this picture, and I'm going to send it to you right now.
What's the deal with burping?
No, I do that usually in the email and VMail segment.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
no, it actually worked. I Googled Hit Boy to figure out what the deal is with Hit Boy.
What's the deal with Hit Boy?
I think Hit Boy is a hip hop producer. That's what Wikipedia said.
Well, you got me. You mentioned the cherry chaos, and it sounded good. And I feel like, I don't know how to describe how I feel right now, but I Googled Mr. Pibb cherry chaos, and the first result is an Instagram hit that says, "You up, Mr. Pibb knows you're looking for cherry chaos. And I was like, I am.
Whoa.
I am looking for cherry chaos.
It's a little forward.
That's yes. I was feeling a little taken aback by the forward nature of this. And then it's like a 15-second Instagram post. It looks like somebody just opening up their refrigerator door. And let's see here. Do we have any audio?
Mr. Pibb is just getting started. When Mr. Pibb texts you up, it's not a question. It's a promise. Because trust, one sip, you up.
Bowl kick up cherry.
Hey, yo, Mr. Pibb. Most sodas call it at a reasonable hour. That's
see.
when Mr. Pibb is just getting started.
See, I kind of cut off the beginning of it.
Don't leave your girlfriend alone with Mr. Pibb.
This is a very forward Mr. But it also looks good.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you throw some cherry in about any cola product, and I'm pretty much there. You know that this is. We need to just. No, you know what? I'm not going to get into it. I have a whole. At some point, we should talk about the mug root beer labeling situation, because essentially what happened, Andrew, was I crushed, I would say 10 to 11 to 12 to 13 to 14 mug root beers that I thought were diet mug root beers. They were zero sugar mug root beers, and they weren't. And I remember drinking them and thinking, God, this is good. This was made it into a Hey Dummies video that then didn't make it onto the newsletter feed.
Well, it is on the internet. It just wasn't in the newsletter yet. We'll get a link to it next time. But yeah, I was delighted by that part of the newsletter.
I drank an entire, like a whole, whatever you call it, like a giant rectangle, like a rectangular
12 pack,
like a 12 pack. And I was just like, every time I would take a sip, I'd be like, they have officially cracked the code on making this taste like the real stuff. And then it was only while I was making that video, legitimately making the Hey Dummies video, did I look at the thing and realize it is not the diet root beer I thought I was drinking.
Is there any reason why? I assume you bought it, right? Or did somebody leave it at your house?
I bought it. I think I might have bought it when some of my family was like, my parents are really anti any kind of diet or zero kind of sugar soda. So I think I might have bought it to have it around, but it just got mixed up with everything else. And again, they were running that crazy deal where it's like buy two, get 3 12 packs free, or like, so I'm just
buy
going
two,
crazy.
Own the company.
Exactly. So I'm just like, I'm just like pulling them off the shelf, and it's like I just think it got in the fog of war. It just got crazy, and I just didn't realize. And there's I've got like 3 different kinds, well not 3 but 2 different kinds of root beers going on, and got some in the Madrona Hill studio refrigerator, some down in the house. It's just like a lot happening, and I just lost track of the thread. And the thing is, I think of a can of regular soda, I tend to think of it as being 100 calories. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's just kind of my. So I'll have a regular Coca-Cola now and then, but I'm just thinking, okay, that was 100 calories. That's what that was. Well, these were like 130 or maybe 160. I felt like they were, not only were they not diet, they seemed like they were especially decadent as far as a can of soda goes. So
what I'm worried about is now, because you've loved Diet Dr. Pepper for a long time. Diet Dr. Pepper and Diet Root Beer, which you're talking about now. I think for a long time you have said they've cracked the code on those 2 flavors. The diet stuff is really good, or the zero sugar stuff is really good. But now you've been drinking the real stuff, thinking it's diet. I'm worried about you going back and realizing how chemically those other things are.
100%. What this proves is they were chemically the whole time, and I was just lying to myself. Because as soon as I had a sip of that sweet, sweet nectar of the real stuff, I was like, oh my God, this is like the best diet soda I've ever had in my life. Why? Because it wasn't diet.
Oh my God. I'm going to get some Faygo and some Chaos Cherry, Cherry Chaos. What is it?
Yeah.
You up?
Cherry Chaos. Some Mr. Pibb, Cherry Chaos.
I need to try those.
Absolutely.
Hello and welcome to Top Story.
Andrew, we didn't get into it yesterday because we're kind of running out of time. And once again, we've got a little bit of time here to talk about this. But I know that you did, as you said, a very restrained episode of After These Messages. I'm assuming, is that show out? Can people find that?
Yeah, we posted it last night. In fact, I will even say, since we're on a little bit of a timeline here, I will try as much as possible to not interrupt you and give you the floor, because if you want to hear my thoughts on the Super Bowl commercials, they're out there.
Okay, I appreciate that. I don't know if it's the good news or the bad news is I don't have a huge, I didn't do anywhere near the research that you did. I don't host a advertising podcast, so I don't have a particularly, thought through take on all of the commercials. I did have, the one thing was I did find myself. It was actually Monday morning. I was rewatching the Super Bowl, which meant I got to see the commercials as well. I just let them. I normally would skip through the commercials, but I just let them happen. And I will tell you that I was a bit surprised at myself that I got emotional from the Lay's potato chips commercial. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't know that's where that was going. It's like, it's a farmer is ready to turn his farm over to his daughter, and they're just having. I mean, I almost was expecting it at some point to turn into some other kind of commercial because it was so sort of nostalgic and you could say a bit cheesy and a bit obvious. And I was like, okay, I know how this goes. These. This is what they do to make you think you're watching one kind of a commercial, and then all of a sudden, Mr. Pibb shows up and starts, hitting on your dad or something.
Mr. Pibb,
but it didn't. It just ended up being for Lay's. But like the argument was, these potatoes are grown by people who really love each other, therefore you should eat these potato chips. It caught me in my feelings a little bit, which it could be the state of the world. It could have been residual Seahawks joy in my heart, though. But I was surprised that commercial actually kind of worked for me.
It is definitely designed to do that. They show the people choking up. They show the adult daughter choking up, which is like, it's such a cheat. It's in a certain way, it's a cheat code. I'm not trying to be mean about it, but like that one, like I watched it a couple of times, got choked up both times, but also was a little bit like, but I've seen it so many times. There's something about the daddy-daughter ads that, it's become kind of cliche, and they were all over the place a few years ago, maybe 5 years ago. I feel like Vives and I did a show on that, and I'm not trying to take that away, but it's like sort of funny how like you are moved to feel the emotions they want you to feel, but the levers are also like so obvious. They're like
very
right
manipulative
there in front of you, and but I will tell you the one that got me a little bit more kind of in this. I'm saying in this category because Genevieve and I give out Boley awards and we divide it up into different categories. And this was best drama category. And the Lay's one was a tearjerker. It hit me a little bit harder than I expected to. The Universal, the Minions one, the Universal Orlando one with the two brothers who were like, I don't know. Maybe one of them was 4 or 5 years younger than the other one, and they have a very loving relationship. But like the older brother is always calling the little brother "little guy" or "little bro" because he's shorter.
I don't think I saw that commercial.
Ruffling his head, kind of, and it's interesting because it's not the characters aren't like archetypes, if that's the right word. It's not like the older brother is a bully and the little brother can't ever get his way. It's more like they show them just living their lives in kind of a montage, and they're very loving, and the older brother's always looking out for the younger brother, but he's just always saying things like, here, let me help you, little bro, or whatever. But you see the little kid getting more and more kind of a little bit peeved at his older brother because he keeps saying, like, I'm not that little. Like, don't stop talking down to me a little bit. But it's like kind of a subtle thing. And then they go to Orlando Resort or whatever, Universal Studios, whatever. And they're having a great time there, and it's still generally the same dynamic. But then the older brother is just a little bit more nervous to go on the roller coaster than the little brother.
Oh, that's a clever idea.
It's really, and so then they go on, but it's all joyful. None of it is like, oh, the older brother's mean and he gets his comeuppance. Sure. It's all like in the middle. It's like all very, very sweet. And I got to tell you, Luke, I think that was the thing with the Super Bowl this year. Did you notice there was not a lot of like the weird commercials, like the really outlandish Skittles commercial? The Skittle turns into a dog that turns into a duck that attacks a unicorn. Like there was hardly any of that this year. It's all this very sentimental, like neighborly stuff. It's like very much, I think the advertisers are kind of like, we know that we are at war with each other in this country, and they were really leaning into these really sentimental storylines, I feel like.
Yeah, I kept waiting for more of those, just like you said. Like, what was it? Was it Paramount, or who did the one, with it's not the most weird, but the one that had the guy from Star Trek, Captain Picard.
Oh, I didn't see any Picard ones.
No, but I mean the previous year. I was just trying to think of an example of a weird commercial.
Yeah, Paramount. They're up on the top of the mountain. I'm sorry. Yes.
That kind of a thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? That sort of energy of just like, we're going to get weird, and then we're going to get weirder, and then it's going to be like, that's why you're going to be talking about this commercial. They felt the ones that I saw, which was probably most of them, felt like there was a little bit more generally speaking, a little bit more, I guess, sincerity woven in them. I will tell you the one that fully got me, and I'm sure even if you were home, this wouldn't have gotten you, Andrew, because this was like a litmus test or a Rorschach test on the kind of person you are. But it happened to be that I was at, of course, Becca's brother's house, and I was there with her family. And like her brother Scott owns a bar in Portland, 21st Avenue Pub, that has like the best karaoke in Portland. He loves karaoke. His wife does. We sometimes we'll sing it at their house. It was the Coinbase ad.
Hands down, best commercial.
You agree?
Oh, hands down, that is how you advertise in the Super Bowl.
I can't. It got me so because it was like we're all just talking. I mean, you've probably already analyzed this, with Vives and maybe in other places, but like we're just at the Super Bowl party. We're talking, and all of a sudden this thing's playing, and it's kind of low, and I'm like, oh, this is clever. They're making it look like a karaoke screen, and then like 15 seconds in, one person in our party starts singing, realizing it was a which song? Backstreet Boys, maybe?
It's Backstreet Boys. I'm trying to play it. The reason but I forgot this link is broken. But yeah, it's Backstreet's Back. All right.
So about 15 seconds in, one person starts singing it, and then everybody, pretty soon, there's like 15 people are loudly, me included, are loudly singing along with it. And then
it's actually the karaoke track, too, which I think is interesting. It's not...
So perfect.
It's not... Here, it starts with the countdown. It's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, getting everybody ready.
And it's too quiet, by the way, because it's the background track.
It's the actual karaoke track, yeah.
Right. So it's like you're kind of, again, that's why it throws you a little bit, because it's like, oh, did somebody mute the TV, or why is this? It's like, well, no, because this is exactly what would happen if you went to the Vibe Sports Bar. Do they have karaoke anymore at the Vibe?
Yes, yeah.
If you were at the Vibe doing karaoke, this is what it would sound like to a T. And yeah, then pretty soon, a couple people are singing, and then everybody's singing, and then we're all just scream singing along because we're so excited, and then it just absolutely nails us with the word Coinbase.
Yes, and no connection to the product or service. It just says Coinbase at the end. And again, this is not me. This is not a statement about Coinbase. In fact, I was glad that there were so few crypto ads this year. There were so many a couple of years ago, which makes me feel good about the future of all this AI shit, because this year it was all AI ads. And I'm like, well, how'd that crypto shit work out for you guys a couple of years ago? Maybe this will go away too. But it just says Coinbase at the end. But like, as far as getting the most out of your dollars, not like hiring Danny McBride to like do some just like that, to me, that Danny McBride, Keegan-Michael Key thing, like I generally like those guys, but that to me is the quintessential bad Super Bowl commercial. Tons of money, cliche idea, song from the 90s, get Bon Jovi. Like, it just was like, it's so lazy and stupid. And this one is like, let's be smart about this. Let's just get the whole room singing with a simple karaoke thing. It's like, it's such a good use of the space and of the dollars, and to get the attention to actually break through, you got to do less, not more.
Do you remember what the experience was like at the Eagles when that played?
Yeah, we went crazy. So Vives and I
do
were
the
all
same
kind of
thing,
like,
basically?
same exact thing. We're all kind of like, wait, what is this? What is this? And then Vives is like, oh, wait, I know this song. And then as soon as the kind of the chorus kicks in, like Genevieve starts singing first, I think, and then Scott starts singing, and then by the time the chorus kicks in, everybody realizes what's happening. I mean, it's the Eagles. I mean, I was wondering how this hit in other parts of the world or other parts of the country. Maybe if you're at home, it hits differently. But like, we are at Karaoke Central, in a room full of people who come to the Eagles to do karaoke. Now, for 30 seconds, everybody's just doing karaoke on the huge screen. It was great.
Very, very effective. Now, one thing that is not specific to any of the commercials, but that I had read somewhere that I thought was really an interesting take on Super Bowl commercials and commercials in general. The guy was talking about how if it feels like Super Bowl commercials maybe aren't, quote unquote, hitting like they used to, or just commercials in general, maybe, it's because, in his opinion, commercials used to be the only place for short form video comedy, because we didn't have Vine and we didn't have TikTok. And Hollywood movies are an hour long and TV shows are a half hour, and even SNL.
You
5
and I
minutes.
both said SNL. Yes, 7 minutes. I feel like SNL sketches. The hit on them was you had a good 5 minutes and then 2 more minutes, right?
Yeah, like there was the only place to look for 30 and 60-second video that would be funny or thought-provoking or whatever was pretty much commercials. And now there's a whole entire world on TikTok and YouTube. And this guy was saying, look, if you put the 10 the 10 funniest TikTok videos of any week up against the 10 commercials, it's not even close.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. But yeah, we have a whole other place that we can go to experience 30 and 60 and 1 minute and 8 second, because it's also not bounded exactly by the bounds of like television advertising, time slots. But yeah, there's a lot of places I can get short form content now that didn't used to exist.
Well, that is not what I've been hearing, because I've heard that comedy's dead in the United States because you can't say anything anymore. You got to go down to Saudi Arabia to really have free speech and
or
really be
to
funny.
The Kid Rock halftime show,
or to the Kid Rock,
where the
halftime
organizers
show.
said, I was reading the New York Times review of that today, and the Turning Points USA guy, whoever it is now, said, we just want to have a Super Bowl halftime show that is free. It's for everyone, and it's free of politics, and it's about faith, flag, and freedom. I thought that was one of the most amazing statements I've ever read.
Yes,
we just want to get politics out of it and just have a nice thing that's about faith, flag, and freedom that we can all just enjoy. That's non-political.
Here I go once again with the email. Every week I hope that it's from a female. Oh man, it's not from a female.
All right. Some emails or V-mails before I rush on over to... Oh, by the way, on tomorrow's show, I want to tell you about this. This artist that I'm doing the story about, his name is Robert Therian. Andrew, you would friggin' love this stuff.
Okay. All right, I'm intrigued. Should I look
He's
it up
all
ahead of
about
time?
scale, my boy.
Oh, I do love
It's all
scale.
about scale.
That's fun.
I walked into the show at the Broad, and I was like, oh, man, I wish Andrew was here. You would be into it, I think.
Oh, nice. Scale and shadows. Those are my love.
He's got them both.
Right.
He's got them both.
He got them both. Big shadows, small shadows. All right. I have a voicemail here that I want to play for you, and it's kind of self-contained. And what I love about this is from Eric in Stockholm, and I love the sound quality of this. You can hear Eric's feet kind of crunching on leaves or something as he's walking, telling us this story. And I don't think it really needs much setup other than the fact that you and I, from time to time, the topic of Mary Lou Henner comes up on this show, the woman who had kind of I don't know, would you call it kind of total recall? She was able to remember very specific dates and what happened in the world and around
and her life. She remembers, she was on Taxi, by the way, too, and was
that's how it came up. Yeah,
an actor in a variety of things, including Taxi. But then, as a side thing, also has perfect memory of every single day of her life. And they've sort of tested this too, because a lot of people would say that. Certainly, in an argument, I've been known to say it. I remember everything, but it's not true. But she is one of those people that it actually appears to be true. It's incredible, her ability to recall specific afternoons from 30 years ago.
Hi, this is Eric from Stockholm. I'm walking home from the grocery store, and I was thinking about the story you told about Mary Lou Henner and her ability to pair sort of a historical date to a certain day of the week. And I have a friend who has that same kind of ability, and it actually helped him solve a crime a couple of years ago. He was at a bar, and he was sort of showing this ability off, and people came up to him and gave him their birth date, and he said which day of the week they were born. And later on that same evening, at the same bar, one of the guests stabbed the bartender, and it turns out that the stabber, early in the evening, he'd given his birthday to my friend, and my friend remembered this detail when the cops showed up. So, by him remembering the date this guy was born, they could identify the suspect and later on arrest him. And the case closed, thanks to this savant-like ability. That's it. Power out. Love the show. Bye.
That is a great voicemail
incredible.
for a lot of reasons.
Oh, my gosh. That's incredible. Eric, will you start a weekly series where you just walk around the gravel roads of Sweden and tell us stories with your flawless English, but which has the most wonderful Swedish accent?
I love it. And also, what a story, too, right?
Totally.
Do you think it would be annoying to have this ability, though? Do you think after a while it would get old? Like, hey, do it. We're at the pub. Hey, do it. Do the thing again. And then all of a sudden a line of strangers is coming up to you?
No, I mean, I would, first of all, you know me, if I had some kind of a cool ability that I could break out at a bar, I would never tire of being the center of attention and being the cool guy. But also, it would be absolutely terrible to be in a relationship with that person, because you would, and it would be, again, it would be verifiable. It wouldn't be one of those things where we just remember it differently. It'd be like, well, no, the person who remembers everything remembered it. Also, what I was hearing from Eric's message was that this definitely sounds like the makings for a show that my dad will have me watching at my house. That he is, it sounds like it's a real natural follow up to Shetland. Because in Shetland, they're always going up to Bergen. Now, I know Bergen is Norway. I know that's not Sweden. But it just still feels energetically like I could see a Swedish show. Well, here's what it will be. It'll be produced by ITV or the BBC. The characters will be in Sweden. They will speak perfect British English for some weird reason. And the star will be Eric's friend, who can remember everything and is solving mysteries because of it. I'm
trying to think of what is it called? Is it called Stockholm Syndrome? No.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, but it's
they
not
don't
really
get
about
quite
Stockholm
as
Syndrome.
The thing about those British shows is they're classy. They go with things like, you know what I mean? They go with Shetland. They go with Father Brown mysteries. They
Could
go
it be
with
the name of the pub? Maybe it's like Lacey's or something.
There you go. Broadchurch is another one. Like that's what they. You know what I mean? They don't get all cutesy like we do over here in the States.
God, I wish they would just make one more season of Broadchurch that doesn't involve a murder. Just give me, like, this is what I want. I want shows like Broadchurch that aren't grisly at all. It's just a bunch of people living their lives. There's no tension.
You want the characters of Broadchurch dancing in a fountain.
Yeah, I don't want it to be that corny. I just want it to be nice. I want them to have conversations over coffee. I want them to go on long walks, and I want those swooping shots of the bluffs.
This sounds, Andrew, like an editing project for you. And by that I mean
everything related to murder.
Yeah, exactly. Like Broadchurch, but not as sad. And then you just recut it with a slightly different soundtrack and use some of those shots. That after you get done digitizing all the VHS tapes in the world, you can move on to that.
All right, sounds good. Put it on my list.
Eric, I'm being serious. That was like a mental vacation for me.
That was great.
Getting to hear you in Stockholm. Talking to us. So I really hope that you will call us back with anything on your mind. You've heard the show. It doesn't have to be interesting. Okay. All right. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode, but I've got some great news. We're going to be right back here tomorrow with more Imaginary Radio for all of you. So please, if you can, join us for that from wherever you might be. In the meantime, have a great Tuesday, everybody. Stay safe, take care of yourselves, and please remember, no mountain too tall.
And good luck to all.
Power out.